Did you love Braveheart? Do you like Chinese food? What about gladiator movies? If so, watch Matt Farah's show. This is The Road Testament. Today, JF Musial and I, Alex, we're going to discuss the life expectancy of battery-operated road signs, and Ford, the manufacturer, completely underestimated and unappreciated by the American public. Today on The Road Testament.
Exclusively at autostream.com/yoparts.
Hey guys and girls, Fastlane Daily needs your help. We want your feedback on online shows just like ours. Go to this link here or click on the link in the description below and take the YouTube survey and let us know what you guys think.
Before we discuss Ford, we're going to discuss last week's two most interesting comments and controversial. Matching Grundle69, not his real username because we don't want to, single him out, pointed out that my seating position was a little odd and my pants were a little tight, making it uncomfortable for some viewers. So this week I have changed my seating position and my angle of seating and worn pants less tight. That shouldn't be a problem now for Matching Grundle or viewers like him. The other comment, JF?
Was from Rob0079, who said, Hyundai should go to WRC. Nobody bought Subarus before they started to compete and win in WRC.
Sure they did.
Okay, yeah, but I agree with you. Hyundai should go to a series and dominate it, and that, Hyundai as an up-and-coming brand should go to a series maybe like Formula Drift, which at this point needs the help, and they could take full advantage of a young crowd. I think it's a great move.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, you don't need to have a top-level driver. You don't need to have top-level technology.
I agree they shouldn't go to WRC. This is a great comment by Rob0079 that they should dominate a series.
They should go to WRC because a lot of manufacturers are dropping out.
Well, they've got Pikes Peak coming up this
and besides,
this summer.
Ford is in there, and they're not winning.
Well, that's a great segue to Ford. Ford, as of this week, has won more WRC rallies than any other manufacturer in the world. They just passed Lancia at the Rally of New Zealand. We were just talking to Alan before, and he said that Ford and American car companies have always had this stigma to them that they've had a hard time in the past few years of overcoming that stigma
since longer than most of our viewers have been alive.
That's true. That's very true. The thing about Ford that people need to recognize is that the products have improved, much like GM, much like Chrysler.
The Fiesta. Well, you can't. GM and Chrysler have improved.
Everyone has improved, but
This is about Ford.
Well, it comes down to a marketing game. They haven't the American car companies and Ford in particular. They haven't communicated correctly as to what they've done differently to change their
That's such a broad statement. I'm going to agree with you, but let's be more specific.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, I got insulted. I mean, really, taken to task because they said, "Oh, Roy, Ford didn't take bailout money." I know they didn't take bailout money, but in the mind of the average person, Ford makes bad cars and took bailout money.
Just because they're associated with GM and Chrysler.
That's right, and they took bailout money because they make bad cars just like everyone else in the United States. But it's not true.
That's totally not true.
They're a problem. It's a little bit of PR and a lot of marketing.
I think it's more marketing than anything else. Let's look at the product lineup for Ford right now.
You got to start with the Fiesta.
No. Fiesta comes last because that's probably the most important. But we look at everything out there right now. The Taurus, that's a whole story in itself. It's a phenomenal car.
I don't actually think it's as phenomenal as everyone thinks it is. It's a great car. But you know something? You know what Ford has with the Taurus in terms of brand equity? It's not even Taurus. It's Robocop. Anyone who saw Robocop, anyone over the age of 30 today saw that was the police car driven by Robocop back in the day. That's the body style they want. That's what they want the car to be called. And in fact, you could bring back that model today with an EcoBoost engine.
Okay,
people would buy
let's
it.
Continue with the lineup. Let's go to the trucks. F-150 still the brand of them all.
It's awesome.
Truck.
It looks like the business. It looks like
business.
Looks like what the Terminators were driving in Terminator 1 when they were going after the humans and winning. That's what they were driving.
Fusion. Great name. Great car.
Need we say more? It actually is a great car.
It is. It is.
The Focus.
Okay, the Focus. It's another brand that
is just awesome.
Going nowhere but up at this point. And now followed by the Fiesta. Fiesta has finally come to the U.S. Now this
actually wait a second. Before we discuss the Fiesta, there is secretly like the best Ford of the current model lineup. You're not gonna believe me when it is.
Ford Transit Connect?
The Flex.
Wow.
Team Paul outside, who went to Grand Am last year.
Yes.
Go to Laguna Seca. We're looking for a rental car. We need something that's, you know, got an auxiliary in for the iPod. Duh.
Okay.
Is
Lots of
inexpensive,
space.
looks cool, and actually doesn't look like a rental truck. And we got and it was awesome.
Let's move on to the Fiesta. I think the Fiesta is where we need to be taking our time.
I think it's the Fiesta too obvious, but yes.
One thing that Ford's done is they've consolidated all their brands and all their model lineups. There's something called the One Ford Plan. Asking the question, why do we have different vehicles for different nations and different continents? Why not make the same cars and sell them everywhere? The Fiesta is being sold in the country later this year. They're actually hitting shores, I think, in October.
It's the same Fiesta they sell in Europe.
That's correct. Last year, they did something genius. They took over 100 German spec Fiestas here, and they had influential Twitter users,
Davey Johnson, our friend
media,
Davey Johnson,
press journalists, whoever you may call them, and they drove the Fiesta without spending $1 on marketing. And I think that was a pivotal point in proving that the U.S. market was ready for smaller cars.
But you're saying their marketing is terrible. That was genius marketing. They got 100 people to drive these cars for free and produce videos advertising the cars.
What I'm trying to get at is that the company has done nothing to try to prove the point of smaller cars are better, other than putting them in the hands of
Actually, let's be fair. Let's move back on a business level the way we discussed Porsche a few weeks ago. Okay, Ford is making money.
Yes.
We say they have a marketing problem. What they have is a marketing opportunity. A problem is a failure to act, and therefore you're losing, as a company, money. Ford's making money. All they have here is opportunity. And it's very rare for a company this size to have an opportunity this great. Their cars, okay, the fact are good. And people, you know, are not aware of how good they are. People who will never buy American cars will never buy American cars. I actually would buy a Fiesta. It gets 40 miles to the gallon.
14,000
Okay, it's not. It doesn't wear the BS green label like a lot of cars have, like a green label. Oh, it's green. It's not. It's a 40 mile per gallon car, standard fuel technology.
With it's $14,000.
No, it's EcoBoost. EcoBoost is nonsense.
Yeah, I know. We'll get into that. It's designed in Europe, but what's most important is that it's got a lot of features you wouldn't expect from a $14,000 car. 7 airbags.
Well, because they bought Volvo.
Yeah, Volvo had a big part in that, and also
now they raped Volvo's technology. They're ditching Volvo, giving it to Geely.
They also have Ford Sync in a $14,000 car. That's phenomenal. You would never think that.
And there's a story.
Yeah.
Because Mercedes command system is the word command with one less M and doesn't work as well. It's foolish. I drive, no.
It's
BMW, you drive, it's trash. And here's Ford.
So simple.
And it works. And so that's a good thing.
Yep.
But you know, what's really interesting here is look at GM. Still making different cars for different markets. Which Ford was doing for years, and now Ford is not doing that. Why does BMW and Audi and these other companies, why do they make so many different cars for different markets? It's a mistake. Because if there's one complaint you hear most frequently from American car lovers, I feel this way, it's why can't I buy that model here? Why do I have to spend a fortune on aftermarket to modify that car so I can have that car here?
And that's one thing that Ford
is getting correct. And that might make Ford they may not be the biggest in the world, but that may make them the biggest someday, if not the smartest. The first truly global manufacturer, which they started in 1981 with the Ford Escort, the world car. They finally did it.
Yeah, that's right. So. The only thing they need to overcome at this point is marketing. And one thing I want to add to that, the one thing I think they're lacking at is motorsports. They've got WRC down, but there are 3 races in the world that if you're not competing in as a manufacturer, you're not doing your job. Le Mans, why is Ford not in Le Mans anymore?
They should be.
They used to be.
They almost beat Ferrari.
Exactly.
Right.
Formula One, they used to be in Formula One. Why are they not in Formula One? 24 Hours of Nürburgring?
No, come on, that's not serious.
That's a very serious race.
Okay, serious for us.
BMW just proved the point last week with the M3
GT2. BMW is the ultimate driving machine. I love them. They're not winning Formula One. Right?
But you need to be in one of those 3 races to prove a point.
Has anyone heard of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring?
Everyone's heard of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. Everyone has.
Excuse me. Do you follow car racing? Car racing. You've heard of Le Mans, right? 24 Hours of Le Mans?
Have you heard of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring? No? No, thank you. See? No. So, there you go.
Everyone knows that you're asking a guy on the street.
A guy on the street, just like you and me, like anyone else who's watching, a guy in the street who loves cars.
The point is, Ford needs to get into serious racing to prove technology to bring it down. GM's doing it with Corvette.
Right.
You're trying to get your position back to racing.
Just make sure Matching Grundle isn't watching this. Look, I agree with you. They should be in motorsports. But the whole reason to be in motorsports is because your brand depends on it, which Ford does not. Okay? Or you want to build a brand based on it to expand brand. If they're going to enter motorsports, there's only two reasons. You want to be a racing brand, which Ford really can't be, because Ferrari's a pure racing brand. Porsche's right behind them. Audi's not a racing brand, but they use racing and won in Le Mans to make TDI a brand.
To prove a technology.
TDI is a brand.
Okay.
So EcoBoost is their Ford's BS brand. They should just drop EcoBoost because the regular engines are good.
I think that's about all the time we have for today. Tomorrow,
I'm going to buy a Fiesta. I'm going to go test drive that. I love
Leo
that
Parente tomorrow is talking about actually Ken Block and Rowie and his disasters. Ford.
Not fair because our buddy Scotto is working with Block, so we're rooting for Block.
I'm rooting for Block too, but Leo.
Not Tanner Faust though.
He's not in WRC.
Well, that's exactly why. That's why we're not rooting for him. He's not in.
But Leo's going to rip into Ken Block tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Next week on the Road Testament, what brand is it?
I don't know. You usually make this up at the end of the show.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But it's Di Tommaso, the brand of the future, or Gumpert, the brand of the past. You decide. Next week on the Road Testament.
Painting ourselves into a corner with that one.